Welcome. Today we'll be talking about Common Bond. We are Michael Doe,
Carlo Costa,
Susanna Dada,
and I'm Rachel Smith.
In this presentation, we will be covering methodology, the history of Common Bond, mission and goals, brand identity, semiotic square, serve qual analysis, gap analysis, and we will provide our evaluations and recommendations. Let's start with explaining our methodology, which consists of the following 4 parts. Research and discovery involves performing general online research and gathering information from notable publications and articles to learn about the location, history, and story of Common Bond. Individual visits. We each individually visited Common Bond in order to perform objective observations, paying close attention to design and layout of the location and get a comprehensive feel for the customer experience. Reviews analysis. We surveyed and analyzed a random sample of online reviews from Yelp.com to gain insight to customer opinions of product, service, and overall sentiment of Common Bond. Evaluation. With all the information we gathered, we examined the brand and evaluated the business to provide valuable insights. Now I pass it on to Carla, who will talk about the history of Common Bond.
The 4 key events in the history of Common Bond begin with Common Bond starting in May 2014 when Houstonian chef Roy Schwarzapels left New York City to create Common Bond along with his colleagues and co-principals Brad Sanders and his mother Kathy Sanders. A year later in 2015, Chef Roy announced leaving to New York City to pursue his own business interests, selling his part to Carrabba's in December 2015. Which takes us to today, where Carrabba's is currently working on improving Common Bond's business model and operations. Common Bond, which is located at 1706 Westheimer Road at Dunlavy, is next to Agora and Brazil Cafe. Common Bond has a great location since it is right in the Montrose area, but still close enough to downtown Houston. This location makes their customers be a diverse group of people ranging from young families all the way to trendy hipsters. A little fun fact is that the establishment itself was designed by the Italian firm Costa Group, which were the same designers that created Italy in New York City. Now Susanna will talk about Chef Roy and how exactly Common Bond started.
So who is Chef Roy? He's the father of Common Bond. He studied in U of H and he also got graduated as a chef at the Culinary Institute of America. He was named one of the top 10 pastry chefs in America by the Dessert Professional magazine. He has worked for renowned restaurants around the world like El Bulli in Spain and Pierre Hermé in Paris. He built Common Bond to leave it in 2015 when he sold his part to John Carrabba's, now owning 50% of the business. What's their mission? To bring people together in the kitchen and in a table and offering extraordinary yet approachable baked goods. In their slogan you can see it, only for all. About their goals. First, to build a great casual dining retail concept brand, an American-born one. Second, to have multiple Common Bonds in other markets, even other countries. And lastly, to make our customers and employees happy. Next, Rachel will talk about the brand identity prism.
Common Bond's physique is Euro-inspired, modern, and rustic. The space is Euro-inspired when you see the staff's uniforms and industrial open ceiling concept. The furnishings lend itself to the rustic appearance. The relationship is photogenic, premium bakery, coffee boutique. From the open space to the menu items to the staff, Common Bond shows that they spend special attention to every detail for the benefit of the client. The reflection is young middle class that thrives on pastry, coffee, and conversation. People who go to Common Bond go with friends or associates, and they do this to show they can afford more or improve their social status. The personality is Chef Roy and his vision that shows throughout Common Bond. The culture, perfection, high standards for the masses, with their logo, only for all, that relays what is for some should be given to all that enter. And lastly, the self-image is exclusively inclusive, extraordinary, and yet approachable. They want their customer to feel as if they are exclusive and are partaking in something that feels leisurely and relaxed. Next, Carla will go over the semiotic square.
Through our observations, we developed the semiotic square of Common Bond and identified their different types of consumers that would fall somewhere within the following. The semiotic square was divided into two sections, beginning with the left side, level of expertise of the consumer, and the right side, level of involvement of the consumer. Beginning with the culinary expert. This type of consumer knows a lot about the industry and what they are eating. They are usually there to be inspired either by the menu, flavors, and creativity of the establishment. For Common Bond, this person can also be a competitor. Next, the food enthusiast. This type of consumer knows a fair share about food. Although they've never been a culinary professional, they're always in the know about new restaurants. The Montroser. This type of consumer lives or works close. They typically go there for convenience, but have also been living in the area for a long time, so they have been very involved with Common Bond from the beginning. The socialite. This is your typical Instagrammer. They are there to be with people, take pictures, and just want to be seen and look for sharing their experience. This type of consumer is very involved in social media. The Epicurean. This type of consumer will indulge and travel far distances for a specific item and will invest in food. For Common Bond, this would be the type of consumer that would say something like, "I only get bread from Common Bond." The Essentialist. This type of consumer is very simple and does not care about the food. They are just there to eat. Now Rachel will talk about our analysis.
To come up with our elements for the ServQual model for Common Bond, we each visited individually and as a group. We also went through 200 Yelp reviews that dated back to 2014 when the cafe opened. Most of the reviews we went through had issues with many aspects, which included parking issues, inventory running out, long lines, space issues, and limited signage. Our own observations concluded that there were issues with Common Bond's tangibles, with the layout of the facility, reliability, with the inefficiency of service, responsiveness with the availability and promptness of the menu items, assurance with the need for recommendations and clarity from the employees. From there, we identified our subdimensions as signage, interior design, inventory, and process. Next, Michael will continue with the gap analysis.
Gap analysis helps us to visualize the gaps in service delivery between customer expectations, perceptions, and overall satisfaction of a business. Areas that fall under Gap 1 pertain to service design issues. For Common Bond, we found that the process, which consists of the customer journey from when they enter to when they leave, the interior design pertaining to the efficiency of the use of space, and signage, such as limited use of customer-helpful signs, were areas that were design failures. Areas that fall under Gap 2 pertain to service delivery issues, of which we found supply to be one of them. Customers cited that they experienced certain in-demand items to be unavailable or out of stock. Next, Susanna will talk about our evaluation and recommendations to address these service failures.
How can we reduce and eliminate that gap? First, we think you have to work with your identity. Is it a come and go cafe or a sit and eat and talk? Some practical ways that we found for you to pursue this are on the interior design, make a better flow of space, take out the big table and make more space for other ones, have a window to sell coffee and bread, have a waiting space, put hooks for women purses, make a way for exiting the place by the patio. Then, with your inventory, produce more items and encourage impulse buys. About your signing, have a menu in the store, hand menus with suggestions to customers, put more signs indicating where to's, and publish your website. And then with your process, you need to give more recommendations and help customers. Be consistent with giving water and sample offering to people waiting in line, and change your ordering process. Thank you for your time. We hope you found our presentation valuable.